Hello everybody, Glass Half Dead here, and today, continuing with my discussion of competitive formats, tournaments, etc., I thought I'd tell you what exactly, in case you don't know, the Commander's format, the Commander's competitive format from Ukraine that I mentioned a few videos ago actually is. Because if you don't know what it is, you can't really judge it. And I know a lot of people in my comments have just straight up said, Commanders is great, but don't try and play it competitively. And I've mentioned to some that, oh, well, no, they have actually changed the rules a bit, modified it to make it competitive. But I don't think I've told you what those things are. If you're on Reddit, you've probably already read this post. And if you're in my Discord, you've probably seen it. But for those of you that don't, go to either of those places, let's take a look at what exactly Kiev Format is. Kiev Format, coined by Zero Stride from my Discord, who also is the person that put together this little document we have in the background here. So, quick little recap. In Kiev, Ukraine, they have a community of roughly about 70 people. That's not, all 70 people are at every single tournament, or all 70 people play the same format, but that's their rough community. From the sounds of it, they are a pretty active group, so that's great. Yeah, let's just go into the format. So it's commanders. And elites, because obviously elites is just released. It's 200 points. The roster is 20 people plus up to 3 commanders. Doesn't have to be 3, but why not? And also note that those 3 commanders do not eat into your 20-man roster. It's 20 plus 3. Aside from that, all other rules of Battlefield Kill Team are in effect. So, that's just to make sure that you don't try and take a Necron commander while you're running an Orc team or something ridiculous like that. So, like any tournament, you would expect the Kiev format seems to take the standard annihilation pack from Games Workshop and the ultimate missions, secondary objectives, but then it builds on top of those a few specific commander rules to make the existing formats work better with commanders. So what are those changes? Kill points, effectively. So commanders obviously are supposed to be powerful units that should be able to make some kills. So any model that is taken out of action by a commander awards 1 VP to the commander that made the kill team, to their player. However, if a model is taken out I'm just going to read it, but it sounds really confusing, but bear with me. If a model taken out of action by a commander belongs to a Battleforge kill team which has 2 times or greater the number of models as the Battleforge kill team to which that commander belongs, that model instead awards 2 VP. If you didn't follow that, hold on. So basically, if when you start the match, let's say you're Grey Knights and you have 5 models, and the enemy is literally any other team, and they have 10 models or more, then if you, as the Grey Knights player with only 5 models, get a kill, your commander gets a kill, sorry. As the Grey Knights player, if your commander makes a kill, then instead of getting 1 VP for that kill, you get 2 VP for that kill. There you go. That's all that means. Just said in a very roundabout, complicated way. That's obviously just a way to balance out kind of hordes, and also to balance out people that are taking the cheaper commanders. Because obviously if you're taking a cheaper commander, you'll be able to fit more models in, but if you're fitting more models in, then chances are that the enemy commander is going to be getting 2 VP off of you a turn instead of 1. Also, yes, so primary objectives, sitting on an objective, holding 1 objective gives you 1 VP, holding 2 objectives gives you 2 VP, holding more than your opponent gives you a third VP. That is changed so that each VP is now 2. So holding 1 objective gives you 2 VP, holding 2 objectives will give you 4 VP, and holding one more than your opponent will give you 6 VP in total. The reason for that there being to lessen the impact of the kill points, although still making kill points valuable. And that's really it. All they've done is add... Oh no, it's not. I apologise. I've completely skipped a line there. Also, finally, when a commander uses one of their aura abilities, they get 1 VP. Just for using it. That is the extent of the Kiev format. They've added some kill points. They've changed the scoring of objectives a little bit, and away you go. But aside from that, they are just playing standard kill team missions that we all know from the books and from tournament packs. However, what's always fun is to go over a few statistics. And luckily, one of the guys that I went out there to meet put together a little post on Reddit. Basically, this guy here is a guy called Mikola. He runs a bunch of the tournaments out in Kiev. And so he has a bunch of stats that he can tell us. Now, of course, you can just go and read this thread, or I can spend the next 5 minutes reading it to you so that I can get better monetization on YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment. Yeah, I know. Do note that all of these statistics do not include elites. These are all gathered before elites was released. So we don't really know what elites have done to this meta, but that's pretty interesting. I mean, I've got a few things I can guess at, but I don't know. And I'll talk about the guesses at the end. I'm going to link this into the description somewhere so you can feel free to go and have a look. I'm going to summarize everything here for you. If the faction can take a strategist, they have. If they can't, a psyker is a close second. But a strategist is 100% the best and seems to be in all winning lists. Is that right? Ha, he says. And then in one of the tournaments, the first number one was a shootist, then a psyker, then a strategist. In a second tournament, we had a strategist, fortitude, strength. Third tournament, fortitude, strategist, psyker. Fourth tournament, shootist, psyker, ferocity, psyker, fortitude. And the fifth tournament, strategist, psyker, ferocity, psyker, melee. The strategist is obviously coming up in every list there, which is, as things go, not the end of the world. You know, a strategist is very powerful, so it's not surprising that it's turning up in all of the lists. And of course, we don't really know the meta out there too well. We only know the top three. You can see it above me right here. These top three here, we only really know that. We don't know anything else. We don't know who else. We don't know the size of the tournaments. We don't know which factions were there, which factions weren't there, etc. However, I suppose a few things to note in all of these tournaments. We have a power armored faction coming in the top three. So the first one, we've got a company commander, a tech priest engineer. Oh wait, that's not from a power armored faction. Plague surgeon. There you go. We've got Foul Blightspawn and Company Commander, and then we've got Chaplain Librarian, and then we've got Lieutenant Librarian, Chaplain Librarian. That's interesting, because say what you will about power armor, they're generally not swarms. They're not hordes, are they? I mean, obviously, okay, so in the third tournament there, the Foul Blightspawn could easily have been Poxwalker spam, I've no doubt it was, but there was also a Company Commander in second. So it's interesting stuff. You know, we're not seeing Tyranids dominate the top, which is just interesting on its own. We do have an Orc in there once. We've got Dark Eldar once. We have Eldar at the top of the fourth tournament. But that's just interesting. It's just interesting to see such a different meta. Now, we don't know. Maybe the bad players are playing Tyranids. Maybe the inexperienced ones are playing Tyranids. Maybe... Where are Tyranids? Is my main question. That's all I'm asking. I would have thought Tyranids would have been really strong in this format, but they don't seem to be. That's very interesting. However, let's also quickly point out some of the commanders that have never been seen at any of these tournaments. The Watchmaster, the Biologist Putrefier, the Warlock, the Succubus, the Troopmaster, and the Broodlord. Watchmaster not being there doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah, I suppose Broodlord doesn't surprise me either, because that would have been a very, very niche list, wouldn't it? You know, to take along just a Broodlord and what, like a few termgets to sit on objectives. The chances of getting melted in the face are way too high. Anyway, so there you go. That is the Kiev format, and that is a few little statistics. Feel free to go and read the full Reddit thread yourself. I'm not going to read it out to you because that's just going to be boring for everyone. My thoughts? It's interesting, definitely. I mean, look, I've got a lot of thoughts, a lot of gut reactions that I would love to give, but I haven't played this. So me saying, oh, well, clearly it's not balanced, or clearly they need to change this, or, oh, well, clearly strategists are too powerful. Just because a strategist is turning up in the top three every time, as are psychers, I mean, yeah, that indicates something, but we don't know enough to really see what that tells us, especially if we now think that elites are out and those strategists, which I'm sure were just sat at the back of the field along with the leader to just wait there while they are, farming CP for the team. Well, now they are going to have to contend with, a Terminator dropped in the back line or a Vanguard vet with a relic blade right behind them. They are not safe anymore. So I suspect Elites is going to balance out any imbalances of weaker, cheaper commanders that this format may have seen in the first place. Now, I do have other ideas. Like somebody in my last video made a great idea that you should get 1 CP for every 20 points that a commander costs. That sounds great, gives you more CP, encourages taking more powerful killy commanders, more expensive commanders, and balances out how powerful a strategist potentially can be. I like that idea. That sounds really cool. But I haven't played this format, extensively, so I can't really say. But there you go. I thought this was probably the best way to get this information out to everybody. I currently have a tournament coming up for 100 points, and then after that, 125 points at the end of July. So I don't have time to play Commanders now, which is actually a real shame. I would have really enjoyed to, but instead, 100 points, then 125 for the next month. But after that, I fully intend to try out this format. If any of you out there have tried this format, what do you think? Do you think, yes, actually, it really heavily leans towards strategists? Or actually, you're going to say, well, yeah, strategists are sucky, but psychers are the ridiculous ones because suddenly everybody's getting 2 cybolts a turn, which is stupid. What are your thoughts? If you haven't played this, what do you think about this format? If you're open to the idea of commanders as a competitive format at all, I know that some people just aren't. There's no interest, that's fine. Is this something you could see yourself playing? Anyway, I just thought this would be a good way to get everybody in my channel to know what exactly they could consider modifying when they play commanders in a competitive way. Anyway, this has been Glass Half Dead. Hope you've had a great day. Hope you continue having a great day.